These videos will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check it out.
And it's kind of surprising. Can someone explain to me why there's a door right here?
Okay, so not everyone knows this, but behind Mount Rushmore, there is a door that leads to a tomb where all 4 presidents' bodies lay. Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson's bodies are all there. They have been encased in egg yolk and flour to preserve their bodies. Don't tell anyone this.
And it's...
Did he just say egg yolk and flour? Like, does anybody take anything serious anymore on any of these apps, bro? Like, he was just drawing us in, and then he dropped us off with egg yolk and flour. Y'all get on my nerves, man.
I genuinely don't think that Biden voters or most of Americans see clips like this. It's completely embarrassing.
Talking about the impacted meeting with survivors and first responders.
That's all first look at.
Look at him.
I spent an hour and a half about 17 or 18 before. So, and I don't know how to say this.
Scary.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost. I've spoken with our Defense Department. It says it's highly unlikely that it was Israelis and a different footprint, and they've intercepted some anyway.
Like what?
So that's why, if you notice, I didn't say it first. I want to make sure that I knew. And look, and I'm not suggesting that Hamas deliberately did it either. It's that old thing, you gotta know how to shoestring.
This is scary.
And it's not the first time Hamas has launched something that didn't function very well.
I genuinely...
What did he even talk about, bro? Like, this is beyond belief. This is crazy. How is he still in office? Like, I don't know, man. We got to start putting like, between him and, what's the other guy's name? Is it O'Connell? Like, the things we see in the news with them at press conferences or in front of microphones is scary. That they're in office. And it just makes me think like somebody is pulling the strings. It gotta be. Because when you see them do stuff like this, you think they're just not capable.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois. As of January 1st,
y'all remember this? I remember this because I'm starting to feel the same feelings and emotions that I got when I first heard this for the first time, bro. Like, what do you mean all you're going to do is give them a ticket and I have to decide how to remove them and whether or not it's legal? Like, where are y'all trying to steer us into? What is these times we're going into, man? or already in, because this was back in 2022 when this dropped. So where y'all taking us? Where are we headed? Because this sounds like a purge is on the rise, man. It really does.
So I have this conspiracy theory that I'm workshopping. It's that the 80s, like the decade, only happened in America. Because if you talk to any foreign person and you're like, oh my God, the 80s, like, wasn't that such a cool time? And like the leg warmers and the Cabbage Patch Dolls and the Trapper Keepers and the cocaine. They're like, I don't know, like, I guess. Like, it wasn't a thing for anybody but Americans. Nobody else cares. Why do we like stand that decade so hard? It's like it was the best our country was ever going to get. It's like it's all been downhill. It's like it's the only time anyone was happy. So I have this conspiracy.
Yep. And it was before everything started happening. Like, I hear people talking all the time. We've even talked about it in a few videos that that was like right before capitalism ensued. You know what I mean? So a lot of people point back to those times, man. Just call those like the golden era, the golden years. It was just that fun. And even when you see old movies and they tell a story from those times, a lot of times they show people partying and having a really good time. Sometimes too much fun, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? They gotta clean up around here a little bit, you know? But back then it was social. It was socially accepted back then. So yeah, they look like they had some fun times. It's a wonder that some people survived that era. It's mind blowing that some people survived that era. Let's just say that.
Just imagine for a moment that you are a tourist visiting America for the first time. You land at, say, JFK in New York, or LAX, or O'Hare in Chicago, or San Francisco, or Philadelphia. What do you see when you take your Uber into town? You see a third world country. The homeless camped out in filthy tent cities. You're on your guard against violent criminals. And everywhere there are drugs, whether it's the smell of marijuana or the fentanyl addict nodding out on the sidewalk. And then, you watch the news. And what do you see? A former president indicted by a Trump-hating district attorney, stretching and bending the law to get a political opponent. Again, this is third world stuff. That's what happens in authoritarian countries. Arrest a former leader to keep him or her out of power forever. That is what's happening here. Think it through, please. If there's a trial, it will likely take place just as the primaries and debates get started. Imagine that. Cameras not allowed in New York courts, but the Democrats would love to see Trump on TV in the dock. They'll ask the judge to okay primetime hearings. And if there is a trial, televised or not, will Trump get a fair hearing? Really? You really think he will? In a city that voted 85% against him? The whole thing is a deliberate distraction. The rabid Trump haters get their chance to rant, and the Democrats get to divert attention from Biden's chronic failures. The third world that tourists see when they come to this country is the result of Biden's policies. Instead of defending those failures, they want to run against an indicted Donald Trump. A precedent has been set. What a shame that we are taking our cue from some third world dictatorship. Just imagine for a moment.
Hey, man, you've been saying it. I've been saying it. You know what? I wonder what other countries see when they look at us. The chaos ensuing constantly on a day-to-day basis. I mean, rest in peace to Jerry Springer, but when I turn the news on now, all I'm missing is somebody in the background screaming, Jerry, 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 Jerry. That's it. That's all I'm missing. It's a joke, man. And I know the respect level that we once had, used to be able to look at it up here. Now you got to look down at it. Because that's how I believe people look. They don't have no respect for us, man. We did it to ourselves. And it ain't just been the current administration. It's been going on for a while. Like, it's out of control, man. And it seems like we don't have a clue to how to get a handle on it. It's out of control. Like, even the kids, when you hear, like my sons, they talk about, and they're like, yo, that's just, wow, this is going on. And wow, the bickering back and forth and this one and the constant divide. Yeah. That trickles down to your kids. The hate you give and spew out towards others doesn't just stay contained to you. It spills down to your kids, and then they take that stuff to school. And what they learned at home comes right out in school at another person. And this cycle continues and continues and repeats and repeats. We're tearing this place up, bro. If anybody thinks or believes in aliens and say they're going to show up right before we destroy the planet, they could be close. They could be close.
Also new this morning, and sticking with tech, this fall, every consumer cell phone will be part of a nationwide emergency alert test. FEMA and the FCC have scheduled the drill for October 4th at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. You can expect your cell phone to receive an alert that reads, quote, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." The reason for the test is to make sure that all systems are prepared in case of a national emergency, and that needs to be sent out to the public. It'll be the second time that all cellular devices are tested. Also new this morning, and sticking with tech.
Y'all believe that? The fact that they can push a button and do something to all of our cell phones at once makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. You know what I mean? And we don't see it. They give us this BS response of why they're doing it, a reasoning why they're doing it, and we accept it and move on. I don't know. We're just too busy with what we got going on in our life to realize what's going on. And they get over on us, man, and do things, and we don't realize it until it happens. This is scary. This makes me be like, my antennas go up when I hear that. A worldwide emergency alert test is going out to all phones. That's, yeah.
The food you eat in America is so toxic it's actually illegal in other countries. US chicken is actually bathed in chlorine before being injected with saline solution and then packaged for sale. Actually, up to 15% of the chicken's weight in these packages can just be salty, sugary water. It's supposed to be so it tastes better, but like, I'll season it myself, thank you. The EU has banned the sale of American chicken because of this chlorine wash, because believe it or not, you're not supposed to consume chlorine. At least not in high doses. I mean, it's in our tap water, so it's literally inescapable. My name is Patrick, and here are 10 more foods that are illegal outside of the United States, and I guarantee you have some of them in your pantry. Since we started this with chicken, I might as well let you know that US pork is also banned. This is thanks to a controversial drug known as ractopamine, which is banned in about 170 out of the 196 countries in the entire world. See, ractopamine accelerates weight gain so that these animals become plump and we can get more bang for our buck as producers. Don't mind my conspiratorial brain here, but last I checked we had an obesity epidemic in the United States. Yeah, I just checked. The CDC says about 74% of us are overweight, at least as of 2020. It's almost like there's this weird incentive to keep us overweight and like slightly disease-ridden. Not dead, because then they can't profit $4.3 trillion off of us annually. It's not profit, it's net income. I get it. It's 18.3% of the entire GDP of our country. Anyway, did you know that Twinkies are illegal? Not because of the high fructose corn syrup, but because of the yellow coloring. Those numbered food colorings, such as Red 40, which gives the maraschino cherries such a vibrant red color, are banned for a good reason. Those colored dyes are actually derived from crude oil, you know, petroleum, the stuff that makes gasoline and kerosene and diesel and plastic bags. Yeah, we're eating it. It's widely known that these food colorings cause a host of physical and mental illnesses, such as allergic reactions, asthma, ADD, ADHD, straight up immune deficiencies. Another epidemic here in the United States. I mean, how many of us here right now watching this video have ADD? Go ahead, raise your hand in the comments. Is it clicking? Stovetop stuffing has BHA and BHT, a synthetic antioxidant which prevents vegetable oils from going rancid and is a common ingredient in plastic or wax paper lining for packages. That was BHT. BHA is actually an anti-wrinkling agent, so you know, Thanksgiving's coming up, so rather than eat the stuffing, just spread it on your face. Coffee Mate coffee creamer, full of hydrogenated seed oils. Same with Ritz crackers, actually. And in small amounts, it's actually not that bad for us, but the problem is, it's everywhere. If you're consuming too many seed oils and not enough, I'm just gonna call them meat oils, that's when you get into problems. See, when I was studying nutrition, our teachers would explain to us that it's more about the ratio between these two rather than just the overconsumption of them. I'm gonna end on a banger here, and I would appreciate it if you would share this one out because I really do want people to understand what they're putting inside their bodies. Bodybuilders are gonna love this one. Milk. US milk is banned outside of the US. Pump our cows full of growth hormones. Bovine growth hormone to be specific. It's a GMO hormone, believe it or not, which actually increases the cow's production of milk. Research is mixed on this one, although conclusive enough to ban US milk in Canada, New Zealand, Japan. Some of the growth hormone gets into the milk and then increases our IGF-1, which does help build muscle, but it's also linked to breast cancer. Careful what you put inside your body.
This is interesting he brought this up because I was scrolling through Instagram today, right? And I came across a video of a girl talking about how they buy their food directly from, their meat directly from a farmer. And it got me to thinking, like, because I've never done that. My dad has done it before, but he didn't tell me until today. Because I immediately sent him the video as well. And she was talking about how her family goes directly to the farmer. They pay so much for a processing fee and for the meat. And it comes up, they got like a quarter of a cow. And it filled up almost two freezers between different types of steaks and roast and ground beef and different things like that. And it got me to thinking, like, is that the way to go nowadays? Find you a safe farmer that's not using all of these different chemicals and different things on their animals and buy direct from them? Is that the way to go? How do you find somebody to do that? How do you start that? Or try it at least. I may want to try it once. I may not like it. It may not be even any better than what we're dealing with in the stores. But I got to figure something else out to kind of try to combat some of these chemicals and different things that are in our food. Like, let me know. I'm serious about that, bro. A quarter of a cow costed her just under, I think it was around $900. $900 maybe, don't quote me on that. But literally, she had a whole fully stocked with just meat deep freezer, the wide ones that you open up like this, and then she had a tall standing with the door that you open up like that, and both of those were full. Both of those were full. Like, I was just in awe, and I was like, you know, I want to kind of look into that. My dad even told me, he was like, man, now that you brought that up, that was some of the best meat we had. And he was like, it took me a while to go back to buying meat from the grocery store. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing he didn't have a steady supply to keep doing it, or maybe the cost. But it seems like the cost might have come out cheaper from what I was seeing with her today. I don't know. Y'all let me know the benefits y'all found on that if you've ever heard of somebody doing that.
This is their bill, 2,500 pages. If you take a look at $3.5 trillion price tag, and you do the math, that's $1.4 billion for every page of this bill. And they want to pass it this week. How many Democrats do you think have read this? Think Nancy Pelosi's read it? Think Chuck Schumer's read it? Do you think Joe Biden, who is desperately begging Democrats to pass it, do you think he's read it? Do you think he knows what's in it?
Again, look how we go at each other. Look how we go at each other, bro. Again, outside countries looking at us just shaking their heads. Just shaking their heads.
Something big is happening. U.S. Debt Clock Part 2, guys. If you haven't seen the first part, go check it out on my page. What does this mean, guys? Let me know.
Ponzi scheme awards. Y'all saw that? Ponzi scheme award, like something is coming, man. It says right in front of your eye, Ponzi scheme awards, U.S. Federal Reserve World Champions. Now it can be complete BS, but stuff like that is interesting to me. You know what I mean? It has to do something with our money, and yeah, I don't know. Y'all break this down for me here, this one here. I'm gonna do some research myself and look into it and see what they're trying to say, but I'm gonna stop it right here, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this crazy video and these conspiracy theories, man. It's your boy L. Till the next one, I'm gone.